Dorks Down Under. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new podcast. This is Dorks Down Under. I am co-host Jordan, and with me is Des.
I'm co-host. That sounds fancy.
We are fancy. This is our brand new podcast that we're doing. We're going to be doing a weekly podcast where myself, who is an Englishman living down in New Zealand, joining me with is an Australian, native born and bred, who has travelled the world, ladies and gentlemen. And basically we're going to get together every week and we're going to chat absolute garbage between us. There's going to be many tangents, and if you want finishing to stories, you have to put comments. I'm sorry, because we're not going to remember to finish off our punchlines.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be like those TikToks where it's like, follow for part 2, and part 2 never comes.
It's going to be follow for part 2, but realistically, you need to follow for part 7.
Yes.
To get to the punchline.
But no,
that's what's going to be
but
like with us.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to share our love of all things nerdy, of dorky, of whether it's TV shows, tech, the love of just being a bit of a nerd. And I think that's what this podcast is probably going to see. And this is what I think we're going to share with you guys. We've got a few things planned. We have a few things that are probably not going to go to plan, but we're going to try anyway.
Basically, we're going to also be sharing probably stories from our past, as well as, you know, what's going on in our current lives and everything else. And we're going to have some good fun with it, okay? Not a serious podcast. We're here for a good time, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure that you join us and subscribe. Like, we are going to be on YouTube. We're also going to be on TikTok. Follow us on Twitter. And our podcast should hopefully be on Spotify.
It's like, if we can work it out.
If I've done this correctly, this is not on the tech guy, this is on me this time. I'm the guy who's trying to get this on Spotify. Touch wood. Touch wood, I've done this correctly.
I was going to say, I think the only thing we can guarantee about this podcast is it's always going to be a good laugh.
It's going to be a shambles, is what it is. That's the only thing we can guarantee about this podcast. It's a shambles.
And then also, I do believe in October there may actually be a live one with the two of us. There's no wall here. There's not going to be joined by a wall.
Oh, we're going to be able to touch. Can we touch this?
Not there. Jesus,
oh.
This is live. Darling.
But yes, no, me and Des are actually going to be actually together on the same continent. Actually, we're going to be on an island.
We're going to be on an island of an island.
An island of a continent.
That's also an island.
That's also an island together.
For, that's not going to be confusing at all.
Yeah, no, that's not confusing whatsoever. It's fine. It's great. But so we'll actually have probably one episode at least that's live, if not 2, because no doubt we'll end up rambling on maybe a couple of things.
We've just recorded 7 hours. We should be able to get a good 20 minutes out of that.
But yeah, we'll at least get between a few drinks here and there, we'll at least get at least one decent episode.
Oh god, there's going to be drinks. Yeah, that's true. There's going to be a lot.
Oh yeah,
that's an episode that I do not recommend already. Just
skip that. That's going to be like one of the best episodes.
Yeah. It's going to have Jordan doing a lot of talking and me being like super energetic for the first 45 minutes. And the last 15 minutes is just me with my head down on the table going, I want to die.
Oh, why? Why does Jordan... Oh my god, he's bringing Jaeger. Why?
Yeah. I don't even know what I've drank, but I want more. But I don't want to die. Yeah.
But yes, please make sure that you subscribe to us in whichever form that you can. And please... message us if you want to chat, if you want to talk shit, if you want us to discuss things. We're happy to chat about them while this podcast is still young, before we get too big.
Yeah.
Before we get to getting big for our boots nowadays already.
I like that. Until we get so big that we don't care about you anymore.
Don't care anymore.
Yes, we're just too fancy for that. And there probably will be a lot of accents, which is really weird. So we do apologise, but that was my specialty.
What are you trying to say about the accent?
I like your Kiwi accent. It's different.
Oh God.
He's like, on that note, it's all over. We've just cancelled the podcast.
That's it. We're divorced. That's it. Nah, great. Nah, I'm gone.
You see ya. Now this is the Des Down Under podcast without Jordan. Thank the gods. At least now all the cool kids are here. But no, thank you for joining us, guys. We will start rambling now, and hopefully Jordan comes back at some stage. And that there is the New Zealand sign of peace. He's back. I was like, damn it! I thought I got out of just doing like 8 minutes of a podcast. Damn it! And then that was it. Now there's going to be more hard work.
I'm going to punish you for that one. Don't worry.
Oh, baby, let's do this.
Oh, naughty. Right.
Let's get started, shall we?
Let's get going. I'm happy to have a rant about the crap movie of Rampage that I watched last night. Oh my god, that was dog shit.
Rampage? Is that The Rock with a giant monkey?
Yes.
I
Do you
like
remember
that.
the video?
I like that.
Oh, Des. It is terrible.
It was a bit of stupid. It was a bit of stupid fun. I liked it.
It's like, no offense, right? Okay, you have the entire. Don't get me wrong. I agree with the video games with the movie industry. Looking at the video games industry, going, great. What can we make? No, because there's certain games where it's a game that was designed just to be a rush, just a DOS game that you would flick on after school, and just break buildings as this gigantic monkey or the wolf.
Yeah, all these. I think there was a green one as well. There was I think it was like a weird looking, like almost like super buff with little legged version of what, I'm guessing Godzilla.
There was just something, but it was just like, as a game, it's great. But when they announced that they were doing it as a movie, I was like, how? And how awful is it going to be? And I'm glad to say I didn't pay money to go see the cinema. I would have been livid if I had paid money to go and sit there and go.
I saw you talking about it because I actually liked it. I just thought it was a bit of dumb fun.
No, Des. It's terrible, Des.
It's not terrible.
It is.
I was kind of like.
Rock hitting rock bottom is what it is. It's like, that's my issue as well. God forbid. I know he's in everything these days, but God forbid, he can at least turn down a script now and again.
Well, his company made it from memory, and supposedly he had a childhood memory of loving the game or something along those lines, and decided that he wanted to do it. And to be fair though, considering the game, like it would be like making a game about Tetris, like. You're not given much. You're kind of given these three monsters, and then you're just
technically pixels.
Yeah, that's true too.
Technical that's another terrible video game.
How do we turn?
Fair, there are not many good video game movies.
I'm trying to think
of a good one actually. Has there been a good one yet?
There probably has. Like the Resident Evil ones.
They did the Halo
so bad
TV series, which was very meh.
Which one?
They did the Halo TV series.
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
That was. Yeah. I'm not sold on it. Graphics great, storyline terrible.
Yeah.
Let's see. Final Fantasy haven't done a live action. They've only done animation ones.
What about Dragon Ball?
That was terrible. Yeah.
Sorry. What was I thinking? Tekken.
Have they done a Tekken one? I don't.
Yeah. They did 2 Tekken ones.
Well, they've done. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen it.
No.
They did Mortal Kombat. Yeah, Mortal Kombat was good.
Have you seen the original ones though, like Annihilation and
I
stuff?
love the original
Yeah,
ones.
I got them. I had them on DVD. What else was there?
I love the original, even though the graphics are so bad.
Oh my god!
This is like we've invented this thing called CGI.
Do you want to use it? Does anybody know how to use it?
Oh god, it's terrible.
Like we'll give it a go. No, man.
So bad. It's so bad, especially in comparison when you compare it at the same amount of time, sort of same era, is you have Jurassic Park as the equivalent.
Yeah, true.
And sorry, but Jurassic Park is the gold standard of CGI back then.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Oh, it's so terrible.
It was kind of funny though. I kind of liked it. Oh, I haven't been watching anything on Netflix, but I was watching something on Stan. One of the guys at work randomly gave me Stan, which is...
What the hell is Stan?
It's kind of just like a Netflix, but the problem is it's been around about 10 years in Australia. It has a few of its own thingos, but then it also has some of the stuff from, I think it's Star in America.
Oh yeah, well yeah, Disney on Star. Yeah.
Yeah, well they've got a different, I don't know, but it's got like weird things. So it's got something like the Kardashians and stupid stuff like that. But then it's also got like movies and TV series and things like that. And they've got this TV show called The Resort. So
The Resort.
Yes.
The mystery thriller.
Yeah.
A mystery. Yes. Right. Hang on. Me and Ellie are watching this, so we're gonna have to be very careful.
Oh, I've only watched 2 episodes, and I've missed the first one.
Right, I will be quiet then, because I'm up to the latest episode, because it's coming out weekly on TVNZ on
Yeah,
demand.
same.
And me and Ellie be watching it, and I have to say, right, watch the first episode. I'm one of these people, right? When I watch a TV show, I have to watch at least 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And if I'm not gripped by the end of the second episode, if I don't go, oh, I need to see what's happening,
Yeah.
then the show's no good for me. I already know
100%.
that's just how it works in my little universe,
Which I think's correct.
which is correct. Whereas, so when we watched the first one, I was like, okay, bit of a mystery thriller. Kids have gone missing. Okay. Second episode, got into it. And then later on down the line, it's completely derailed. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm confused as shit. I recommend watching it, but it's like, so, Matey Boy, who I was convinced had killed him, isn't the killer, and the kids are actually alive. Or they were alive, in terms of time. It's weird.
Yeah, I won't lie, the throwbacks quite and forth. Some of the cuts I really like, where I don't know, they were kind of banging on the floor or something, and all of a sudden they hear something in the lock, and all of a sudden you see the door get kicked open, and then it cuts back into the old one, and they walk into like this. And I was like, some of this stuff has been really well done, but the biggest problem with Stan to me, and that I hate so much, is it's been happening for 10 years, and the sound of them speaking is one volume, but if there's music over the top, it sounds like they're talking in a nightclub, to the point where we've had to turn the bass down on our TV to like 15 and the treble up to 80, and even then it still overpowers it. But this is a streaming service that has been around for 10 years. This is a streaming service that has like its own shows, like it's actually produced its own shows. I think Wolf Creek, they did a TV series that was on
It's not
Stan.
just on one show, it happens.
No, it happens on all of them.
Oh my god, alright, that is bad. To be fair, I mean, we were watching...
It's horrible.
What was the other thing we were watching a while ago? Superman and Lois.
Oh, yeah, with the Spanish...
The new Superman show. Quite good. Quite good. But the issue I had with it is with TVNZ On Demand is like you watch it, and when you're watching a YouTube video and you can tell that someone has just rushed through it together in the edit to get it released, and they've not checked the sound levels whatsoever between bits.
Yeah.
So it says a compilation video, right? Say, where they've got loads of different clips. So it goes like, and they're talking like this, and it's fine. It's like something. It's like the music, the background music between the things would jump up to like
that's what this one does. That's what this thing does, and it kills me.
Hell. And then you turn it down, and then they start talking. It's like, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, that's like this one, but it seems to go from like they're talking, it's normal. Music comes on, and it's just like we're going to turn it to 12, and then you can't hear them. Like the first time, I'm like, oh, they're at like when because. This is how I enjoy series. My housemate watches the first series. If she really likes it, she does one of two things. She does binge watches and then goes, oh, you really need to watch this. Or B, she's like, oh, the weekend's coming. Why don't we binge watch it together? So that's what happens. But I always miss the first episode because she always watches it, goes, I really like this. I want to watch it with Derek. Done.
Yeah. I want to watch it together. Yeah. No. I am your housemate in our relationship. I'm the guy. I'm the one who finds stuff. I'm like, Ellie, I really want to watch this, and I have to be really good to not. Apparently, it's now a term. Netflix cheat.
Wow.
Apparently, it's a term. I found this out the other day. Apparently, you shouldn't be Netflix cheating on shows together.
He's like, I found this out. Yeah, couples therapy. She brought it up, and I just paid $700 for her to tell me about this. I'm joking. There's no thing, but like it is funny. Like, but she does that, and she'll be like, oh, I want to watch this, or we'll start watching something together, and then the weekend ends, and there's still more. And I think she did this to me with Animal Kingdom, where she watched 3 or 4 episodes, really liked it, said, we should watch this, tries to explain it to me, explained it to me really bad. I'm like, why don't we watch the first 3? She doesn't want to because she's already watched them. And then from there, what she does is then she will go, yeah, cool. So we'll watch a few episodes throughout the weekend. And then what will happen is I come home and she's like, I just want to finish this episode. And I look at the TV and she's up to like episode 2 or 3. Season 2. And I'm like, weren't we like halfway through season 1? Oh, I kept watching it a bit. I'm like, really?
I just watched it, just an episode here or there.
Yeah, I know that here or there just became here, and then here again, and then here again, and you're like, so yeah. So there's a growing list that I like to make fun of stuff that I need to watch that she's put on this list that I need to watch, and it is just a forever thing of things that she's watched
expanding.
and blames me
You'll
and
never
tells
catch
me I
up,
have to
Des.
watch.
That's what's gonna happen, Des.
Oh,
You'll just
man.
never catch up.
Well, it's weird too because I've got TV series that I like to watch, and then it just kind of and then she's like, "You really got to watch this," and I'm like, "Okay." Like Stranger Things, have not seen Stranger Things. Every time I sit down to try to watch it, it's like no.
Yeah.
And at one point, then when the first season came out and had all that hype, I said to Cherish, I was like, "Why don't we sit down and watch it? It's got a lot of hype. It sounds really cool. Why not?" And then all of a sudden, she's like, "No, no, no." And then just before season 4 came out, she was seeing all this hype, and then she watched all 3 seasons. And then she's like, "We really need to watch this." And then she felt bad because I hadn't seen the first 3 seasons yet, even though I didn't have time. And then season 4 she watched by herself, and she goes, "Oh my god, it's so good." And I happened to walk in at one bit when they were doing the that was like the last scene when, if for all those people that haven't watched it, I'm sorry, it's a spoiler, but when the Kate Bush song started playing.
This is where the imaginary spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to give it away, but it's when the Kate Bush scene.
Which one? There's about 15 episodes.
Oh, suppose it's the last episode. The last episode, the Kate Bush scene. Because you know how season 4 got split into 2.
Oh right, hang on. You're talking about
the redhead chick.
You're talking about that bit, right? Okay, because I was about to say I don't know why they split it, but I see the entire show, incling both halves together.
Okay.
So
that's
because there's a few Kate Bush things in the second bit.
Yeah, so I saw that bit, and then on Facebook I saw the Master of Puppets scene, which I'm like, I have no context for it, but when he's up there jamming away on that thing to Master of Puppets, I'm just like, as a Metallica fan, I'm like, that is sick.
To be fair, I mean, because obviously, I mean, being a 36-year-old chap, I have what's now I consider a major TikTok addiction, and
I'm still not on it.
Don't. I'll warn you now. I got on it, and then he was like, "What's the point?" And she downloaded it to try it, and now she's also addicted. Honestly, it's because it's shorts, quick videos. It just keeps your attention for that little bit of time. You're like, next.
My ADD brain just loves it.
You don't know, but then I've like, we send each other random videos we find, or I'm saving food videos. Like, ooh, that looks good. I'll save that. I'll make that next week. Yeah,
why not?
You do. You end up seeing all this stuff. It's that, or you discover hacks about things that you should know, or they should be taught to you at school. It should be mandatory. Some of these things that you find out about hacks wise. It's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where I don't know. Like, I'm just afraid though that I just sit there for hours and just watch stupid crap. Yeah, and then the worst thing is though is like, because they've got those reels now on Instagram. Occasionally they're just like, here's some suggested posts, and it's either the world's most stupid thing, or it's just a girl that's somewhat pretty dancing to the same 7 songs, doing the exact same moves, and I'm just like,
I have to say, I feel like Instagram did it. Because to be fair, it was funny how, because Facebook had it. They had stories and stuff like that. But they weren't pushed. But then TikTok came out, and TikTok got really popular, and they're like, need to push this. Let's push. Yeah. Oh, do you want to make this as your story? It's like when you're doing a post for everyone. It's like, do you want to make it a story? What's the story? I just want to post this. I just want to post it so people can see my update. What's the story do? Oh, well, it's there and then it's gone. It's like, okay, but why? It's like
kind of, it feels weird. It's kind of like video Snapchat almost. But you've got 24 hours to watch it, and I'm just
to be fair, I don't get Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat. I understand the usefulness of it, but dear Lord, I'll tell you what, I just bothered with that.
My first ever Snapchat was hilarious. Like literally, one of the girls I was working with, who I nicknamed Wifey. She was my American wifey. We pretty much hung out together at work. We were like the best of friends, and it was so cool. And then her boyfriend started calling me her work husband. So then I
Oh,
just started as a joke referring to her as wifey. So wifey gets Snapchat and she goes, are you on Snapchat? I'm like, no. So she adds me. So as a joke, I'm like, and I sent her 4 pictures straight off the bat. So picture, Dick Cheney, Dick Tracy. It was a rooster and it was another like famous Dick Van Dyke. And then the message underneath it just went, I'm pretty sure this is what I read Snapchat is for.
It's for dick pics.
It's for dick pics. So I just started sending them to her. And supposedly she asked me to resend them because supposedly her boyfriend was interested in my dick pics. So I, of course, would send him said dick pics. And yeah, he was crying. He thought they were hilarious. And I was just like, okay, that's pretty much it. And that has pretty much been my Snapchat career, other than occasionally getting stuff where it's like Gemma wants to add you, and you go, okay, and you click on Gemma, and it's like, here's 17 links to all my different porn sites. And as soon as you click them, I'm literally going to take all your details. I was like, that sounds interesting. Thanks, Gemma. How about no?
Honestly, I get that so much because obviously with my old, well, I say old channel. I still have the channel, my old YouTube channel, Orcs Magic. I have an Instagram account.
Description down below.
No, it's a dead channel. Don't.
Yeah.
But subscribe here. This is where I want my content now. This is
Okay.
Dogs Down Under. But it's funny how literally, if I go into my Instagram DM requests. Because obviously, if it seems a bit sus, they put it into your request slot. This person wants to talk to you, and you look at it and go, no.
I don't know her.
I was like, I have no idea who this person is. And then you say, oh, you want to block her. Why do you want to block her? Because this is spam. That's why she is phishing. Because this is a bot. This is probably a call center person somewhere in East Asia who's trying to get all my crap.
I love when they call you and they're like, hello, sir. My name is Stephanie. I was wondering if you would like to talk to me about your thing. And you're like, no. Stephanie? No. What's your real name? It's like, it's Stephanie. No, it's not. It's like, stop it, Stephanie. And when they just refer to you as sir all the time, I'm like, what woman that supposedly I love the ones too. They just went, I'm in your area and I'm down for sex. Here's a picture of me. And they send you a picture and you're like, how do you know my area? Because I know for a fact that none of my location stuff's on. Because I know for a fact I've turned it all off. Because I'm tech savvy enough to be able to turn all that off. And then like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm in Baltimore. Oh, so am I. Really? You're in Baltimore. Okay, cool. And then you start rattling off streets, and they're just like, oh yeah, I'm here. And I was like, so you've literally done exactly what I've done. Googled streets in Baltimore, and then you've just gone, oh, I'm in this street. You're like,
I'm here.
I'm like, all right, I'll meet you at this restaurant. Oh, I thought maybe I could just come over. I was like, all right, cool. But you got to sign up here because it's easier for us to contact.
Oh God! Oh, the amount of times it's one of these things because occasionally, but when I was collabing all the time, you get messages from people. It's like, okay, this could actually just be a genuine person who's getting into it and wants to collab. And you know me, Des. I'm very.
You'll talk to anybody.
I talk. Yeah, I do. Honestly, I'm like a little child. I can't be. I'm the kid who would get into the van if there's sweets.
To be fair though, if there's candy, you're like we're both big guys. We'd probably both get in. There's cake in the car. Fuck it, let's do this. I'm big enough to handle myself, and I really like cake. And to be fair, my body, I don't think they're gonna want me.
But honestly, it used to happen so many times where they would talk and they say, "Oh, I want to start streaming. I want to do this." It's like, what? How, and so you start talking to them. He's like, and say, "Oh, do you want to talk on this app?" Because it's like, "Oh, cool."
I know.
I've wasted an hour chatting to you about crap, and you're just a bot. The bot AIs, man. They. I mean, actually, this sounds like a podcast where me and you are gonna whinge about technology.
Yeah. Technology making things easier.
There we go. First podcast episode title: Two old men whinge about the advancements.
Grumpy Dorks Down Under. It's called.
Yes, we have a grump. One doesn't use Snapchat. The other one doesn't have TikTok. Oh God.
And one does send dick pics on Snapchat, and his user channel is. That's how it works.
If you want, there we go. We can put that in the description, and therefore people can go get their own dick pics from you.
Well, I thought I actually
set up a bot to say.
Oh yeah, that's true. As soon as you add me, I'm like, I'm just gonna add a dick pic.
I was gonna. Here's your Dick Van Dyke.
I know. I thought it was funny, but her boyfriend actually thought it was hilarious, and I'm like, that's actually alright. Wait, why is that doing that? Sorry, I'm just playing with the settings because my head's like really little.
Your head is low.
That is true too, but there we go. That's better.
It doesn't help that my camera has made my head giant, massive with Discord. I don't know why.
I've seen you in person. You have a giant ass head.
Look, it's not that big. It's not as big as what this camera is making it. This camera is, honest to God, it's hilarious how, if I was to set this up in Streamlabs, the thing comes up and it's so damn small and you've got to zoom in out and it's massive and then it looks normal size. But for some reason, Discord has gone, oh, here's this. Let's just zoom in a bit, shall we?
He's like, yeah,
because normally you can see the top of this shelf.
Oh, really?
Normally when I use this camera. Because normally
it's got to have something to do with your settings. Go into settings. Go into video settings.
I've tried. It's not working. See, because normally Thor's hammer is viewable. You know, I've got my Thor's hammer. I've got my Wolverine claws as well. Normally these are all visible. Yeah. See, this is what AliExpress is for.
Holy shit! What the fuck? Okay, I just hit the wrong button, and now I'm got a space age background. AliExpress, where Jordan spends way too much money on shit.
Yes, honestly. Hell, that's the reason why I bought a fire wand. God, I saw it. And to be fair, I got this because I saw a TikTok ages ago where a guy had one of these, and basically he walks in and his wife's sitting on the couch, and he's got this he's put a bathrobe on. He's like, Harry Potter, the boy who lived. And he fires it, and she's not expecting the fire to jump out and hit her.
Oh my god!
So she's like, yes.
For anybody watching, like literally, it just like when he did it last time, it's kind of smoked a bit, and then this thing just launched out, and I was like, okay, what the fuck?
What I will do, I promise, and we'll get this on for the vidcast. For people who will watch this on our YouTube channel, will see the video, and it will have me firing this. In fact, it's getting dark. I will go outside, and you'll get a really good effect.
Jesus Christ! We'll have to talk about this when we actually start properly recording the podcast, because we've kind of started, but we haven't started as well.
Oh yeah, no, this is probably how it's going to go. We're just going to chat shit, and then we'll probably do our little intro now.
Yeah, at the end.
Because let's be honest, this is how it's going to be, Des.
You know, but why is all the rum gone? That's what I was thinking when you sent through the whatchamacallit, the Johnny Depp thing. I was like, but why is all the rum gone? And he just kind of runs. I love it, like kind of like paper mache run. Yay!
Yeah, the strings are still attached.
I won't lie though, I am gonna find it super weird if they do make that without him.
I'll tell you what, if they make it without him, it will flop. Number one, because people won't want to go see it without him, given all the situation that's happened since then.
Yes.
With the case and all that jazz, people won't want to go see it. Or B, they were going to have to pay 300 million and 100 million alpacas to get him in it, and people will still boycott him because it's like, you didn't believe in him, you don't deserve the money.
I know, that's the funniest thing. Like, I do feel like it's either way, it's going to be boycotted or it's going to be not boycotted, and you're just like, I'm like, you kind of.
Oh, come on, let's be honest. The fandom is so spiteful. They'll wait until it's out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I know.
They're like, I don't need to see this, and I'll wait until it's on Disney.
Yeah, I know. It'll tank the cinema. It'll go to Disney Plus, and it'll be like their highest stream thing.
Oh yeah, highest.
And they'll probably get
yeah,
people subscribe just for it and shit like that. And you'll be like,
yeah. People will take their 3-month subscription. They'll see that the data shows that they're just getting their free subscription to log on and watch.
Oh man.
You know, that's what will happen.
It's fun. It's funny though, because like people are weird creatures, and I would not surprise me if it was to happen that exact way.
No, it's one of these funny things these days with like cancel culture and all that jazz. It's just, I find it hilarious. They're all mental. They're all insane, quite frankly.
I don't know. Like some of the stuff they have cancelled, I kind of understand. Like,
yeah,
there is a lot there. There is some things where like
I'm not saying cancel culture is bad. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, there are things that have been picked up that very good. Well done. Thank you. We've addressed this issue. Well done. But it's like when I don't know, James Gunn, when he got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3
Yeah,
because of tweets that he did 15 years ago
yeah.
when he was
Promoting a movie in regards to that to try to build hype and whatnot.
yeah, when it was good traction to be edgy and a bit odd, and it worked. And guess what? Things were, and that's how it used to be back then. But it's like, oh, he wrote this 15 years ago. Ah, this is the way he thinks. It's like, what, people can't mature. Well, I don't mature in 15 years, but
Yeah, that's true.
so most people do.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, and just recently, the director of Thor brought out that one where he played a Jewish Hitler.
Oh yeah, Taika Waititi. Yeah, Jojo.
Yeah.
Jojo. Yeah.
And I'm just like, and then you signed him on for another Thor.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's perfectly fine. But God forbid if someone who wrote a tweet 15 years ago, oh no, he's out. That's it. Nah, gone. Don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I do think there's been a lot of things that people have got right, but there's also a lot of things that when that wave starts, there's no way of stopping it. And I think for certain things it's good. For other things, I'm kind of like, oh, that went a bit far.
Yeah. No, I mean, let's be honest, right? We've loved Johnny Depp as the example. That's the example that we've been using. Obviously, all this stuff got mentioned. Yes, very bad. Domestic abuse is never funny. Never funny, not good. Blah, blah, blah. However, the fact that it was all online, it was all theory, but no, he's done it. Well, hang on. Isn't the phrase innocent until proven guilty?
Yeah.
Not guilty until proven innocent, because that's just wrong. And it's amazing how it's amazing how now, obviously, they've gone through the case. All this evidence came out, and it shows. All right, I was Team Johnny. I'm not gonna lie. I am Team Johnny. I saw all the evidence, and you know what? Is he a saint? Hell no.
Yeah. Does he not have a lot of mental issues, and does he not need to probably work on many things? 100%.
100%.
But did he do what he was claimed?
He's a flawed.
No.
Yeah, he's a flawed individual like all of us. He's a flawed individual like all of us. But dear Lord, it is one of those things of when I heard all this evidence, and then you see Amber sit on the stand and say, "Oh no, none of it's my fault." Whereas Johnny was like, "Well, yes, I took drugs. Yes, I drank too much. Yes, I, Basically, you might as well have been, yes, I married the wrong woman. That's what he should have said.
I know, 100%. I still think that I still want to have a mega pint of wine.
Oh, have you not had a mega pint yet?
No, I tried. There's just they don't seem to serve them at most of the cafes I've been going to.
Oh, you say I've got an English pint glass in my cupboard. I had one. I think it was the day of the trial, the day of the announcement. I went and poured one. Half a bottle.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, that's the thing though. So a pint glass is 550 mils or 546 mils, give or take.
An English pint is 573 millimeters.
Is it? Oh, yeah. Which means, and a bottle's obviously 700, 750, depending on the 750, 700 if it's champagne. That's all far out. It's like
what's wrong with that?
It's like full, like it's like almost 4 glasses of wine, and you just drink it like normal.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Look, right, when you're having a night, and when you're having a session night, because we all have a session night now and again. Look, if you're having wine, how many bottles of wine could you do in a night?
I haven't drunk wine in probably over a decade.
Well, right, what about beer? Right, beer. How many beers do you do?
Okay, just to give people out there a thing, the last time I drank beer was I had a single beer on my birthday. So it was December 15th, 2021. I'm pretty sure the time before that was my birthday, and I think the time before that was when I was having beers with you at Magic Fest.
What? Des, you're not going to survive the upcoming Tasmanian trip with me.
I'm not going to lie, I am worried.
Your poor liver.
I'm going to be dead.
Des, I feel so sorry for your liver.
Yeah, I know. And then I've got to roll straight into PAX Australia from that. And I'm going to be like, oh, crap.
Well, your PAX trip's going to be pretty much you sobering up.
Yeah, I know.
So right, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go first, right? When I'm on the session, for example, last weekend, where we were meant to do all our test footage of this podcast, I had a bit of a session on Friday night, because Friday night's my my wind down. I want to have a few beers night and blah blah blah.
I love that it's
I
called
ended up
wind
having,
down.
I ended up having 10 cans of beer. Got bored of that, and then I thought, you know what, I want a mixer because I'm 10. So I'm 10 cans in. These are the 300 ml cans. There was 330. And then I was like, you know what? I fancy a rum and coke. Why not? Let's go for that. Quarter of a bottle later, I then get myself to bed. I wake up feeling ill as hell the next day. But that's like a session. So that so I had about 250 ml. Yeah, hang on. There's a litre bottle. Yeah.
He's got the bottle there. He's just like,
no. This is bourbon. I was just double checking that these are litre bottles. But yeah. So it was about 250 mils of rum.
damn, son.
With 3,000 what is it? 3,300 mils of beer.
Yeah. Well, I do know, like the last.
But to be fair, I am an Englishman,
Yes.
and drinking is part of our culture.
Yes.
As you know, you lived in England for so long, you know.
It's weird though. Like when I was in London, there was, like for me now, like I go to a cafe, I'll get some brunch, or I'll go to a cafe and have a coffee. Not an issue. Over there, it doesn't have a cafe culture. Like I remember going out for coffee, and when I'm finished, the girls looking at me like, "Are you going to go? Like, why are you hanging around there?" To the point where it was easier for me on my breaks to go to another pub, order a half pint of beer, and I could sit there for my 3-hour break and just read my book. Where here I do that at a cafe, and it's just the weirdest thing. And I like it's just bizarre. But what's weird too though is I still drink pints in like four mouthfuls. Like 3 or 4 mouthfuls is normal now, and it's so weird.
That's quite a high amount in my opinion.
Well, let's put it this way. Last time I got drunk was I think about 8 months before I first met you in real life, at that Magic Con. I went out with an old chef buddy of mine, Jeff, and we went out. What the Americans call day drinking. We just went out for drinks, and it just happened to be light outside, like day drinking, night drinking. I don't get it. It's kind of like preheating and heating. No, it's just drinking, bro. And according to, because like seriously, like an oven, you preheat an oven, so which means it's either off or it's heating. There's no preheating. How do you preheat? I'm going to think about heating.
No, preheating an oven is
makes no sense.
God. Preheating an oven is to get the oven up to a temperature. So when you're putting the food in, you're putting it in at that temperature.
Yes, but aren't you heating the oven? Pre is the most pointless prefix in the English language.
Yeah, but you have pre-drinks.
Or do you just have drinks?
No, you have pre-drinks. Drinks is when you're out on the tiles.
Yeah, but you can have drinks at home.
Yeah, that's pre-drinks.
But I'm saying the word pre is just a thing that you could just literally put in front of it for no reason. It doesn't need to be there.
It does.
It's like like I turn my oven on and they're like, is the oven heating? No, it's preheating. You're like, but isn't it getting hot? Wouldn't that just be heating? Like people ask me, why is the English language so screwed up and why is it so hard to learn? I'm like, because we have stupid sayings like that. It's like somebody comes over here and it's just going to be like, what are you doing to your oven? Preheating. So what, you're doing something before it heats up? No, it's just heating up. So why is there preheating?
To be fair, I don't think it helps that in England there's about 1,000 dialects between counties, and we all have our own little words and lingo that go on in it. I mean, England has royally screwed the English language more than anybody. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Americans haven't contributed. Yeah,
or Aussies as well.
And Aussies, you all did a fine job contributing to the downfall of our language, but my God, England's on another level to you all.
That was the weirdest thing. So we worked with this guy, and there was this guy that used to come in every day. He used to have his 3 pints, then he'd leave. On a Sunday, he'd come in, he'd have a roast with his massive dog. And they would sit there, and he was a Scouser. So for people listening that don't know what that is, somebody from Liverpool, obviously, and they do have quite a strong accent.
I can't do it. I'm trying to think of a Liverpoolian accent. I can't. Ellie could probably do a Liverpoolian accent. I can't.
Yeah, but it's a very thick accent. But what happened was he had a friend visiting, obviously from Liverpool. They were at the bar talking, and I honestly didn't understand a word they said. There was an English guy next to me that eventually I just served the pints. Pretty much what I did was I'm just like, I'm going to guess that they just want 2 of what he normally drinks, which they did. And the English dude at the bar turned around and just said, how did you understand what he wanted? I was like, I didn't. I just know what he normally drinks, so I just made him 2. And he's like, and so there's an Englishman that doesn't understand the Liverpool or the Scouser accent. It was the most insane thing to me. And I'm just like...
Yeah, it's really funny because up until I moved out of Cumbria to go to university, I didn't think I had an accent. Because obviously I'm surrounded by Cumbrians and we all speaking lingo, because like a lot of the Cumbrian dialect uses lingo like I'm gone is going, I'm going, or I'm gone. Yam is home, so I'm gone yam. Mara is friend, so Mara could be
Jesus
friend, brother, anything. What's going on, Mara? Oh, what's crack? Crack. Oh, that was an interesting story actually. My first ever introduction to my kitchen in university, so in my shared accommodation, is I think it was like the first week, and I got back from classes, and everyone's hanging out in the kitchen as they do. And Walt said, "Oh, has anyone got any crack?" Now, crack, it comes from a Gaelic term called craic, which means gossip, talk, various things like that.
Yeah, because obviously, the Irish say, what's the crack?
What's the? Well, yeah, they tend to say, "What's the crack?" or "What's the craic?" But obviously, Cumbria uses crack. But walking into the kitchen says, "Has anyone got any crack?" Made people think that I'm doing hardcore drugs.
No, especially in university too, where you're like, yeah, just going to experiment.
Just experimenting. Why not? It was one of those more interesting interactions when they realised when I had to explain what I was talking about. It was interesting, but I remember my boss when I was working part time at university, because I have an accent, and we were talking, and it was all fine. And then my dad rang me for something quickly, and I'm on the phone. She said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Oh, it's my dad ringing. Can I answer?" She went, "Yeah, no worries." So I pick up the phone. Blah, blah, blah. He asked something about something I left behind, and he's like, "Oh," I said, "Oh no, I don't need that. No worries." And blah blah blah. How you doing? "Oh yeah, well, I'm good, son. I'm good. All right." Blah blah blah. Right, anyway, Dad, I'm at work. Gotta go. Bye. Hung up. So I don't know why I do that because I'm on a modern day phone. But anyway,
I think it's the age thing. Like I was watching this comedian. I can't remember who it was, but it was so funny. And he went up and he's got 3 kids, and they're about 4 years apart. And he goes to the oldest. He goes, "If you were talking to him on the telephone, what would you do?" And the guy goes like this, probably like we would. Yeah. Then his 2 youngest kids did this. Because it's a smartphone, and I'm like...
Oh, we're showing our age now, Desmond.
But it's just so funny, because even when he did it, I started laughing because obviously, me being a little bit older, I was like, oh, that's not a phone. And then when you think about it and go, the phones they've probably had in their life have all been flat. So it's just the weirdest thing because he just did this, and I'm like.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's the other day. I think
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I was on YouTube or something, and there was a mum and her daughter, and they're like, "Here's something to confuse the kids," and it was the dial-up sound from when we used to connect to the internet, and the kid just looks at her mum dumbfounded as if to say, what the hell is this? And I'm like, man, you're never going to know the struggle we had to go through. And then all of a sudden, some random telemarketer would call and the internet would cut out. And you'd be like...
Oh, no. It would be that you're upstairs, you're on the internet, you're like, great, I'm in the middle of... Not that I ever did it, it was friends who did it, they're downloading music illegally, but, friends, not me. And then, of course, their mum would pick up the phone and obviously would disconnect everything. I need to listen to the latest Limp Bizkit LP. Come on. Not me.
So I'd go buy it from Sanity, and then obviously then they would download it illegally because it wouldn't be us.
Yes, obviously, I never would do such a thing.
I still remember when that craze was really big of downloading MP3s, and then you had the iRiver and mini discs and silly things like this. And then you had Napster come out, and Napster was this thing that kind of just revolutionized everything to the point where Metallica even sued them at one stage there. And made a fair bit of money, and then it opened the door for a whole heap of things, but we won't go there. But the number of times I remember my dad calling me into the office and just being like, the computer won't work, and having to log on to this thing and realizing that my brother's gone, oh, Derek downloads from Napster, I'll download from Napster too. But then just clicking on the most random files and then trying to open them and they wouldn't work, be like, yeah, cool. And then having me having to come in when I'm about, I can't even remember how old I was, maybe 13 at the time or something, and just having to wipe almost the entire computer or literally...
The viruses.
Oh my God, like, seriously.
I remember one time, because I'm the tech savvy one of the house. Always have been, always will be, because I'm the nerd. Can't be helped, ingrained. And I remember one time, because I had my own computer and there was a family computer, because, I was old enough and they trusted me, so I had my own computer and there was a family computer downstairs, which my brother used mainly because he was a bit younger. And I remember one time my mum was like, Jordan, why is this not working? I'm thinking, it could be the RAM, maybe it needs reformatting, all the 5 billion things that we don't have to do anymore. It's great. Because of the thing called expansion.
Yeah, I know.
And I remember going down and it's like, yeah, it's virus. It needs full wipe, restart, everything. And she's like, how can it be like this? I went, well, I said, I'm not going to name names, but likely it's got a virus. How could it get a virus? How could this happen? How could this happen in our household, Jordan? It's like, well, mum, I don't use your computer as I do. It's not me.
Yes.
You may want to maybe, quiz somebody else in this house who is of a certain age and who is maybe going to
have some kind
site
of urges.
or downloading certain files that may have viruses.
Oh God.
Oh, no, that can't be right. That can't be right. No, that can't be. It's like, all right, well then obviously it's the fairies, mum.
Yeah.
It must be there. That's the only other explanation for it.
I know, like I can't believe that boobs.exe was a virus. Like, come on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like I remember being on there, and like if I was ever downloading music or something that would take like I remember just downloading a song and it's like 400 meg, and right now I could literally have done it by the time I finished this sentence. Back then it'd be like an hour. You downloaded you downloaded 100 meg album. It would literally take like 3 hours. It was ridiculous. But the number of times you'd see like the different albums, and then it'd be like this one here that is like EXE, and you're
99%. No. It used to always be that you have a couple of albums on the go, and it's like, oh, this one is a 99%, and it stays there for an hour, and you're like, finish.
Somebody share you bastards.
Somebody get online and share so I can finish this damn album.
I know.
Yeah. Because obviously, I mean, I used to use... What was it I used to use? Torrent... Was it Torrent Hub?
Oh, you know what I reckon you used to use? LimeWire.
LimeWire, that's it!
Yes. Show my age. Tech geeks.
Oh my god. LimeWire.
That was the other one that was kind of a bit all over the shop where you were kind of like...
But yeah, I mainly used it. I didn't really use it for music that much because I didn't have an iPod at the time. So it was like I got an iPod like a couple years later. I got like an iPod Shuffle. Yeah, the
little ones.
Yeah, I got a Shuffle and I love that thing, man. That was so good. And then but then when I got a Shuffle, I was like, oh sweet, I can backdoor this. Oh, it's like oh no, you can't backdoor. You've got to use iTunes. All right, fine. So hang on, can I get this? Can I import songs? Yes, you can. Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Over to LimeWire. So, I need this album, this album. But I used to use LimeWire mainly for games.
Yeah.
I used to, so I was getting like Star Trek Armada, and
Jesus.
you'd have to download it, but then you have to go and find a CD key.
Oh yeah.
Back in the days of CD keys.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Have I just made you feel a bit older, Des?
Oh man, it's like, and I love the ones where it's like where you get the ones and it would just be like whatever game it was, and then it would just have cracked.exe, and you're like, yeah, that's gonna be a virus.
Yeah, is this one cracked? Nope.
I still think that to this day, still, I have a friend, And he's still, and please, if anybody out there is watching this and has actually bought this, please put it in the comments. I don't know what I'll do. I'll get you something. I'll give you something. But he decided after using WinZip for 2 years, he felt bad because he knows that no one buys it. And he actually went out and bought it.
My God, someone pays for WinZip.
I still to this day, do not know anybody that has paid for WinZip, WinRAR, or any of those things. And Princess, as I called him, Sean Courtney is his name, but I call him Princess because he was a bit of a princess. I love him, and if he's listening, I do love you, Sean, but it's still funny. But he paid for WinZip, and it was the weirdest thing because I can't remember what it was. We had downloaded something on his computer, and I remember this. Downloaded something on his computer. We had to unzip it. Double clicked on it. And I think I was about 26, 27 at the time. So it was still, 13, 14 years ago. And I double clicked on it and nothing popped up. And I was like, oh, so I closed a couple of windows thinking maybe it's popped up behind it. And he's like, what are you looking for? I'm like, well, normally it pops up with like your thing is expired and then you just close it. He's like, oh, no. Yeah. He's like, no, I got the full version. What? And then he told me the story about how he felt bad because he kept using it. So he decided to pay for it.
Oh, my God.
And I would kill to find somebody else that has paid for it.
Oh, please. Oh, right. Listen. God, dear listeners, if you know someone who's paid for WinZip, please let us know.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Why? Why would anyone pay for WinZip? I'll tell you now, while we were just talking, I looked up to see if LimeWire is still going. It's not. But I tell you what, guess when it got a permanent injunction, so I had to shut down. Take a guess of the year.
When it was first.
So no, when it was shut down because of an injunction.
I'm gonna go 2006.
Later.
9.
2010. It went to 2010 before getting shut down.
I remember I was using LimeWire. I used Napster, and then Napster shut down, and then they turned it in, and then LimeWire pretty much was like almost like a mirror image of it. But then within a year, like I don't remember really doing it after that.
But like there is a LimeWire.com, which is for a music NFT marketplace at the moment. I'm not even going to click the link because I don't want that crap on my history. Yeah. I don't want recommendations popping up. Yeah. Oh, you just NFTs? No, leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm like, Lord. Oh yeah, I don't want to click on the link. I'm just going to go to boobs.ext because that's just easier. Ding. Oh, not again.
Honest to God, it cracks me up. I mean, to be fair, the entire crypto thing and NFT and crypto is just the biggest pyramids.
Well, I am the proud owner of 3 NFTs. Have not paid for a single one.
Great. There you go. You're winning already.
So there was this one. It was like a Tassie Devil one or something. And a friend of a friend kind of knew the one of the artists, so I was just like, cool. So I just shared there. I think I literally just liked and retweeted it, and I did it because a friend literally asked me to. So I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. It doesn't really worry me. Cool. And then I won, and I was like,
all right, Des. All right, backdoor it. I see how you.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, no. Supposedly it was because I didn't know the people, so I drew it, and then on their Discord they had this thing where I think you type like ! work and you got a few coins, and then you could do like crimes and you get more money, but then you could rob other players and stuff. Yeah. Right. So I went in there a few times just to be active, and I did it for, I reckon, the last probably day because they tagged everybody. I went in there and I thought it was funny. I did that. The last minute, what happened was all these people started robbing each other. With about 3 seconds to go, 2 people robbed the highest guy, which put them down, which put me into top place. So like it was like 17 people robbed 17 people. What happens is when you rob, I think if they've got like 1,000 coins, you take, I think it's like 800.
Yeah.
And I think you take 500, then 200 go missing. So for some reason, just from me working just hitting ! work every hour, I'd got enough coins that the top like 15 people all robbed each other and all did different things. and dropped
Which
me
then all screwed each other over, and therefore you just went.
Yeah, and I literally won another one, which is this gold thingo. And then there was another one called Kiwis and Kangaroos that, what's his name? Jimmy Jackson. He's a Kiwi comedian. He's massive on YouTube. He does these skits. I met him at PAX, when the last PAX in 2019. And it was funny because I was talking to him, had no idea who he was. He was a mate of another Kiwi friend of mine. So I was just chatting to him thinking he was a mate from New Zealand. And then as we're walking through PAX, there's people like looking at us and stuff, and I'm like, okay, not thinking much of it. Then a couple of people asked,
"They recognise you, Des. You must have recognised you."
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I know for a fact that 90% of people haven't seen my face, but they may know of my writing, but they haven't seen my.
Hang on. Your face was in a face reveal in a vlog.
Yeah, one of yours, funnily enough, and I think that was literally the first time. But it was weird. So, and then a few people asked for photos with him and stuff, and I'm like, who the fuck? And I said, and I said, Jimmy, man, I don't mean to sound rude. Why are people taking photos with you? He's like, I'm like, sort of like, I do like YouTube stuff. And I searched him and he's got like 1 million subscribers and stuff. And like, he does these cool little skits. And he is one of the nicest guys thing. And he was a part of it. So I did the same thing where I was just sharing things, not really thinking much of it. And I won another one. So technically, I own 3 NFTs.
So basically, you're cheating people out of NFTs. Well done, Des.
Yeah, I know.
Well done. That's the way it needs to be done,
I was going to say, so if anybody would like to buy them, they're going cheap.
No, they're going expensive, Des. They're going expensive.
Oh man, to be fair, if I
you won't get these off Des, guys. You're not going to get them off Des. Do you understand?
I know. Click the link. I'll just take money. Just throw money at me.
Shut up, Des.
But it's like like the weirdest thing. But yeah, I don't get them. Like I'm like, okay, so now I own 3 of these pictures.
Oh yeah, let's be honest, right? It's a pyramid scheme. It is. It is a massive pyramid scheme. Basically, what it was is people were like, how do we get money for stuff? And it's like, you can't copyright. I mean, I remember Magic the Gathering saying, we do not allow any of our art to be used. And because like someone has started up a little website and they were trying to use the art and NFT it, and it's like, no, we don't allow it, and therefore they had to shut it down and refund everyone because people are like, oh no, I'm gonna get Jace the Mind Sculptor because that one's gonna be worth it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, no.
See, this is one thing. This is one thing that I had this conversation in the UK with this drunk guy. So I worked in the place called, it was Auberge at the King's Head. It was in Teddington, and if people know the UK, Teddington's quite an affluent area. Around the corner, they have the I think it was the studios where Star Wars were filmed. I'm pretty sure one of my friends, Paul, who used to work with me, who I trained up, he went to school with Keira Knightley in the same year, which I call bullshit, but he actually showed me his school photos and she was there. So it's a quite affluent area. And one of these guys is an art dealer, and we got really drunk talking about art one day, and he actually thinks that art is literally the ultimate money laundering.
Yes.
Because art, according to him, I can just be like, this painting here behind me of just white, that's worth $1 million. And all I say is I paid $1 million. It becomes an asset. I can write it off on tax. And he's like, that's how it just keeps getting more and more. And I'm like, and like, the worst thing is though, is he's got this drunk ramblings. I'm probably about 7 or 8 pints in. And in my head, it is making sense to me. And I'm just like, that makes a lot of sense actually.
To be fair, don't get me wrong, right? I'll tell you now, I'm not a cultured person, Des, if you don't know, funnily enough. And I don't get art. I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like. I'm one of those guys.
I was going to say, and for everybody that can't see, actually behind the camera, there's just a big painting there of the dogs playing poker.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the dogs playing poker? Right, hang on. Are you coming for the dogs playing poker? Are you really coming for the dogs playing poker? I was going to say,
this podcast lasted literally 1 episode. I insulted the dogs playing poker. It was all over. Friendship ended. There was this massive... This is going to go viral just because we're going to fight on stream about dogs playing poker. Just this thing come off and stuff. But yes, the dogs playing poker.
You're not wrong. The dogs playing poker is awesome. But yeah, anyway. Right, dogs playing poker is now in my mind. But basically, it's like, I find, Ellie, my sweet dear Ellie, she's the cultured one of us, and she is. She's fabulous. Mainly for putting up with me more than anything.
We all make one mistake in our life. Ellie's like, I made one, but he's all right.
Oh no! To be fair, my best man made sure he mentioned that in his groomsman speech.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He mentioned saying, what was it? Jordan, you couldn't have done better. Ellie, you could have done a lot better. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm happy with this. But yeah, it's one of those things that I find hilarious, that it's like you go along and like you see classical art, and I can appreciate classical art because obviously it was done back then, very different times, different types and impression. You know, you like who you like, and but when you go to the Tate Modern in London,
yeah, I've been there multiple times,
and you see a fucking cabbage sat there and with multicolored dyed leaves, so you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
I won't lie, there is a few things like when you're talking about, as you know, like the Renaissance area and stuff like that, when they used to have to make their paints from things they could find around them. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. They used to use lead paint and then wonder why they died young.
Yeah, and this is they were done during the war of blah blah blah, and and they only had candlelight to go by and blah. Yes, appreciation, I can get it. And then there's a guy who stapled a banana to the wall.
That was duct tape, excuse me.
Sorry.
You uncultured swine.
Sorry, duct taped. We're going high class, Howard.
Next episode, there's going to be somewhere on this wall. I'm just going to duct tape a banana.
No, staple it. You can't have the original.
Can you imagine doing that? Like just getting the staple and just going, and just going, oh, it wouldn't stick. Like it would just splatter into the wall.
It's just, I don't get that crap. And I really don't, and I never have, and I never will. And they say, oh no, this shows the artist that he's like, bullshit. Yeah. Basically, he was paid so much, and he went, I haven't got an idea, I'm just going to do this. And that's what he did. And it's like, I remember, Is it Banksy?
Yeah.
Who's gone into like major, well-known, famous like museums, like art museums, and he's put up his own little shit.
Yeah, he just stenciled. Yeah, he just stenciled something onto the wall or something.
On, put a frame around it and leaves it there. Or people do it. People will actually go and they put like something in a museum and put a sticker next to it and see how long it takes to get noticed that it's not meant to be there.
Right. I won't lie. Some of this stuff, it does worry me. Like the banana with the duct tape. I'm like, really? And then somebody supposedly grabbed it and started eating it, and people were like losing their mind because there's this however many $1 million, we'll say like $30 million sculpture had just been ruined. I was like, just get another banana, bro. Like,
yeah, it's like, that's the thing. It's like, hang on a minute, right? I say, so you mean to tell me someone walked in and said, you know what, I want to buy that for 30 million.
Yeah.
Give me the 30 million. I'll go down to Bunnings.
Yeah. Right.
I'll get a roll of. I'll tell you what. I'll even find a gold duct tape.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get some fancy duct tape, right? And then I'll go find the greenest banana, right?
Yeah.
Stick it
but
to the wall.
That's the other thing that I find funny too, though, is like that banana is literally in a week. The odor that it's going to give off, like you're going to frame it just to keep the smell from it.
Dropping bottle lids now, but but the fact is that I just don't get modern art, and it's hilarious how like when they start waffling on saying, oh, this shows the anger or the desperation, and it's like,
I still remember,
cauliflower. Like, he went to the produce section and he picked a nice one.
Yeah, I was gonna say and then all what they did is they literally got a cup that had multiple different like thingos and put different dyes in it, then pushed the cauliflower onto it so the colours went up into it and made it look like a cauliflower flower. Like, I'm like, wow, that's inventive.
It's not inventive, yeah, but it's one of those things that I'm like, what? It's just like when they start trying to be fair, I do the same thing with wine. All right, when they start doing the spinny stuff, like, I smell cherry.
It's
red. I'm the guy. It's white.
Yeah.
It smells burnt. It's like.
Well, this is going to be really knobbish to say, but while I was in London, as I said, I worked at the Auberge, the King's Head, so it was a French restaurant, so a fine dining French restaurant that also had like a wine bar / It was a wine bar, but 90% of the people there drank beer.
What level sommelier did they have?
Me.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You were the sommelier.
It took me 3 years of my 3.5 years in London to get the certification, and it was the biggest ball breaker you have ever. Like, it is like, I swear to God, like, I haven't done uni, but I'm like, I feel like I have. Like, just knowing the regions, knowing the different grapes, knowing all of it, and obviously having to know the France, the Spanish, and all this stuff. It was the biggest ball ache I ever would, just so I could tell some toffee English dude that isn't going to know the difference between a Pinot Noir and a Chablis, and just go like, here you go, you dipshit. And they're just like, oh yeah, you're right, this one pairs so much better with the red meat. I was like, yeah, because it's red, bro. Like, you're not gonna know any of this. Like, yeah, like, and then when you sit there, but you've like, so part of my training in TAFE and stuff was actually wine tasting, which for us was the most fun thing, because so it was a Thursday from 9 till 11. We had wine tasting. From 11 till 1, we had yoga. So I studied hospitality.
So, hang on.
Yeah.
You had yoga as part of your...
So this is what happened.
I would have paid to be a fly on the wall to see you do yoga, number one.
Do you want to see me do yoga? Like, see, like, so this
you were being zen.
So I went to a school, a TAFE, like, which is kind of like a tertiary education, not quite uni, but a higher studies again. And we had the wine studies, which literally meant that we just got pissed at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then what happened was Pam, who was our teacher, you could do the yoga, or you could just lie there and just relax, because the idea behind this was that hospitality is very stressful. You need to find outlets on how to relax and calm down. And this is somebody, like, I've worked in hospitality since I was 12. I ended up getting out of it officially, like, actually the service side of things, when I was 31. So I did it for a long time. I still to this day have never done yoga. But literally what you would do is you would, from 9 till 11, get shit-faced. From 11 till 1, you would sleep it off, because you just sit there and you literally just lie there like this with your palms up, and then occasionally you just hear.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Des. This sounds like a pretty sweet course. Can I get signed up to one this week?
But the funny thing, so there were two classes that did the same thing. It was a advanced diploma in hospitality management, and the other class from 9 till 11 had yoga. And then from 11 till 1 had wine studies. So what they would do is they'd get pissed, and then they would have to hang around because they couldn't drive home. Well, you'd get pissed and sleep it off, go grab some lunch, and you'd be golden. And because being where it was in Footscray, there was this really nice kebab shop. So you get shit-faced, you'd have a nap for 2 hours, you'd go get a dirty kebab, you'd come home, and then you'd drive home, and you would be fine. And that's all of us on P plates, so have to have 0. But that was literally our thing, because we were dealing with stressful anxiety. We were trying to do this, and it was literally like, I don't know if a single person ever pulled a yoga pose in the whole semester that I was there doing yoga. It was literally just us sleeping it off.
Hey, teacher's got to get paid either way. She doesn't get it.
The worst thing was I loved Pam. She was kind of like a little bit hippie-ish. Like, she'd always come in and she'd have like these like MC Hammer pants, like these like pretty much elastic at the waist, elastic at the ankles, and just as much parachute material as you can fit between, in the most horrendous colours that were kind of chewed up and thrown up onto this material. And she was lovely, like, she was beautiful. But if she was in Woodstock, even the people at Woodstock would have been, damn, she's a hippie. Like, she was lovely though, but she was like, she goes, oh my God, how are you, beautiful soul spirits? And I'm like, oh my God.
No.
And then she's like, okay, so everybody lie down for 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, if you want to do the poses, please do them. And we're like, okay, cool.
So basically she was turning up to get paid for 2 hours to do her own yoga session.
Yeah, but what's weird too, though, is that she...
I mean, well done. Bravo. She's nailed it.
Well, no, because technically she did 4 hours. So she did 2 hours of yoga.
Oh, yeah, so she did...
2 hours of watching us sleep.
Great. Hey, what's that? That's honestly, well done to that woman. Well done. She got herself.
I was gonna say, if Pam ever sees this, no, we love you, but yeah, we just napped through the whole thing. It was, oh my God, it was comedy gold. But yeah, just it's kind of weird. Like the things that we did at school. So like obviously we did hospitality management. So from there I learned how to actually do wine tasting, like proper wine tasting. And then I did a few Scotch courses while I was here. And then when I was working at the French restaurant, and because I was the bar manager, they decided to make me the sommelier. And it is still harder than those 2 years I did in Thingo, and plus worked full time in a commercial kitchen and also did some shifts in nightclubs. It was still harder than that. Like it was thing, and still to this day, like you taste wine, I'm just like I could really wank it up if I wanted to, but personally, I'm just like, yeah, this is nice. I'll drink it.
I mean, one. All right, okay. A couple of things. One, I would have paid to see you do the, do the swanky bullshitting, or you need to have this because of blah blah blah. I would have paid to see that in the day. Two, I thought all Aussies had to work at walkabouts legally
Yeah, I
in the
know.
UK.
I wasn't allowed.
Yeah. For those of you who aren't English, walkabouts is a should we say Aussie theme? Is Aussie theme, or is that a bit derogatory to Aussies?
It's really it's weird though because it is, but it's literally like I don't know, like it feels just like a
It's an
college
homage to
bar.
Crocodile Dundee.
It
It is what
really
it
is.
is.
It's kind of like everything that's so cliche Aussie from like the
Yeah.
early 80s, 70s and 80s. They've kind of taken, thrown in a bar and just surrounded it all with
And
just
then
getting
franchised
absolutely
it and
shit-faced.
sent it up and down the country. And it's like, oh, this is what all Aussie pubs are like.
Yeah, I know.
What a shock I got when I went to my first Aussie
Yeah, I
pub. I
know.
was like, oh, wait a minute. There's got people with corks on their hats. What the
Yeah,
heck's going on?
where's the Fosters? It's like, no, bro, nobody drinks Fosters.
No, I was smart. The problem I had was realizing that they have a different unit of measurement in Australia. Apparently, a schooner, of which I went, "What the fuck's a schooner?"
Yeah,
of which MP Numbers Sean, who's a very good friend of ours on the channel, went, "No, a schooner's a schooner," and
I love when
it
people
took
do
and,
that.
and thank God it took Des who went, "Oh no, he's English. No, they don't do schooners." And he went, what do you mean they don't do schooners? Like schooners is a large jar. What the bloody hell's a jar?
Yeah, no, I'm just like, oh god. I'm like, so yeah. But the worst thing is too, though. So in Victoria, where you visited when you visited us, it's called a pot. But I'm pretty sure in Sydney they actually call it a schooner. So that's the weirdest thing. So every state has different measurements. So obviously in England it's easier. It's like this is a pint, this is a half pint. Simple, it's half of this. Lovely.
Yeah.
Get one.
Whereas like, all right, here's a jar. I was like, all right, so that's like a half pint. And I was like, so what's a schooner? And they're like, oh, it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's like a three quarter.
Well,
It's like a three quarter
are we
pint.
talking double? Are we talking like why are we talking bigger? And when you took it, said it's like three quarters of the pint. I went, what's the point? Just make it a double. It's like
It really
why
is.
why invent this extra unit of measurement
Yeah, it's
for a
like,
drink?
it is, and that's the weirdest thing. Like, I mean, like when I remember when I was working in the UK, I'm like, it's just easier. It's like, do I have a pint? Do I have a half pint? Or as the very old 70-year-old publican at the time said to me, he went, "Oh, love." He goes, "Are you a man or you a woman?" He's like, "If you're a man, pint. If you're a woman, half pint." I'm like,
Half pint.
wow, this isn't sex at all.
Yeah. Gentleman measure and a lady's measure. That's an old phrase.
Oh.
But no, to be fair though, is because obviously growing up in the era I did, it was like, oh, do you want a large or a small?
Yeah.
That was the standard. And it was funny when I went to Germany. The first time I went to Germany, well, in fact, yeah, it's been the only time I've been to Germany with my wife. And we did a city break, went to Berlin, lovely. And we landed, got checked in the hotel, no worries. And we said, oh, it's lunchtime, let's go grab a bite to eat before we start exploring the city. And this restaurant on TripAdvisor just popped up saying, oh, 5 stars, blah blah blah. It's about to open. Great, let's get there. We'll probably be first or second in, job done. And of course, we sat down and look at all the beers, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll have that. She went, do you want a small, medium, or large? I went, oh, please, love, I'll have a large. No. So I said I'll have a large, and he was like, oh, I'll have a small, please, of whatever beer it was. And of course, she comes over, full pint glass, what I would call a pint glass, walks over and puts it down in front of Ellie. And I was like, oh, no, love, I ordered a large. And she went, yeah, no, yours is coming. And I went, but hang on, how much is that? She went, that's small. And I went, yeah, how much volume is it? She went, oh, it's 500 mil. Excuse me? And she went, yeah. And I was like, okay, all right, just as a curiosity, how big is the large? She went, oh, it's 1.5 liters. And I went, excuse me? In literally 2 seconds later, comes over with not a pint glass, but a glass boot. I know we're in Europe and I know it's a comedy gig, but dear Lord. And she comes over with this massive glass boot and puts it down on the table and says, there's the large there. And I'm like, this is 11 o'clock in the morning. I ain't going to be mullered by the time I leave this place.
What's weird too, though, is the beer in Germany. Like, I went there, I think, twice. And the one thing that I remember is that both me and a good mate of mine, Andy, who I actually met traveling around Europe, we went there and we did this bike tour around, around Munich, yeah. And we just did this bike tour. And then there's this giant pagoda. And at the bottom of the giant pagoda is this restaurant. So we got a pork knuckle and we got a stein. And it's like a litre.
Oh.
So we do that. We get our pork knuckle. We get another one because it was funny. So we had 2 steins. And then we're riding these bikes around Munich. I'm probably about 100 kilos and about 5'10". Andy's about 6'3", probably pushing close to 140. And we've both had 2 steins and we're driving around. From then, we didn't take the bus to the Munich Beer Festival. The first thing Andy says is there's myself, there's Andy, there's Kiwi Dan, and there's 3 other people whose names I can't remember off the top of my head. And he's like, and Andy's like, oh, I'll get 6 steins. And we're like, okay. And so I'm thinking he's ordering for anyone. He's like, do you want 6 too? And he just looks at me and he does that. So this poor woman comes over with these 12 steins and drops them in front of us. So at this point, we've had 8 steins. We went on to have probably about another 3 or 4. And both of us are trying, like, it's kind of like an apex where we were both sort of carrying each other, walking like this. And then we passed out in these tents that we had hired and stuff, and we woke up the next morning. And I'm going in and I'm like, oh my God, I've got to pee so badly. And like, I reckon I peed for about 20 minutes. Like, I just think, and I walk out of the bathroom and Andy walks out of the bathroom next to me. He's like, how you feeling? I'm like, not bad at all. He's like, yeah, same. But supposedly in Bavaria, so Munich as well, is that it's illegal to have preservatives in your beer, which is so the reason why is after they tap them, they have to sell them within, I think it's like 24 or 48 hours. Otherwise they go bad.
48 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we
I think they
can
do it at 72 at a push with certain vintages. I think it's faster beer. But no, I tell you, the best thing, I mean, I had the best time on my city break tour in Berlin. I mean, I think I had like 52 different types of beer. And great. The best thing is, Des, that it was Rugby World Cup was on.
Oh God.
And I found an Irish bar for the England game. Best game ever. It was fabulous. But it was the best thing. I mean, the first night out, of course, because I started on 1.5 liters and carried on because it's like, oh, screw it. You know, I've started, I'll finish.
Yeah, it's probably easiest to just keep going.
Keep going. So I kept going, and I drank so much beer in the day. And then I woke up the next morning. You know, I had everything set up. I had my 2 paracetamol. I had my little bottle of water. I was ready for the day. No hangover. And I was like, what bullshit's this? Hang on a minute. I've had a great night. Number 1. I drank a copious amount of beer, number 2. Where the hell's my hangover? I was not ready for the no hangover part.
Yeah, he's like, I've lost my wallet before. I've lost my phone before. I've never lost my bloody hangover. Where the bloody hell is that coming? And then you're like, maybe it's coming later in the afternoon. And if that happens, it's going to be bad.
Oh no! You ponder for it. You're like, okay, maybe I'm still, maybe I'm still buzzed, and it's gonna go, and it's gonna wear off. It's gonna hit me. No, the entire day, no hangover, and it's like, oh, screw it, I'm gonna start drinking again. Because we ended up going to a dine in the dark that night, the second night, which was an experience unto itself. That's a separate story for a different day.
Yep.
I don't like not knowing what I'm not eating. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird when you can't see literally a centimeter in front of your eyes. It's like, this is pure black. This is terrifying.
And I'm putting random shit into my mouth.
Yeah. Well, the fact that it's amazing how much you pork your food.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just going to use my finger, and then before I get my fork. Okay. Yeah, weird story, but yeah, that's a separate. That I literally could probably spend an hour talking about how I don't like it.
I'll just mute myself and just let him talk and just
Oh yeah, honestly,
go study yoga again.
But yeah, but yeah, that was the entire thing I took away from the weekend is how good German beer is. Because one, it will get you mullered,
Oh yeah.
and it does get you mullered. But God forbid, you wake up the next day, you're like, I feel great. This is awesome. And the best bit is that literally, like, we were getting onto the metro to travel across, because they have an underground, and they call it the metro, and to get across the city. And literally, it's like you're getting on the metro at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they're cracking a cold one. They're on the way to work, and it's like, I'm like, Elle, and she's like, no, you are not moving. We are not moving to Germany just so you can drink beer at 10 o'clock in the morning and justify it. I went, oh, come on. Come on. This is my country.
Be cultured, damn it.
That's what I say. Okay, you tell me to get more cultured, but no, apparently drinking at 10 a.m. is unacceptable.
God. Some people, man. Some people.
I know, it's just ridiculous.
Well,
It's
that was the weird
ridiculous,
thing because we were staying at this when like after we woke up when we were feeling alright. I remember Kiwi Dan's like, I'm gonna get something from the vending machine. Do you want something? I'm like, bro, just get me a drink. Like I'm thinking a Coke or something like that. Maybe I need some sugars. Like I was still afraid this hangover was coming. Like you said, I was waiting for it. And I'm like, I'll take it. So he goes to the vending machine, and I'm talking to an old friend of mine that randomly happened. Like, so this is the weirdest thing. We hopped in a bus to get us back to the campsite. I sit down, a girl sits down next to me, and we look at each other. And both of us are like, why do we know you? And a family friend of mine, Alicia, it was her best friend. So we got on like a house on fire. We started chatting and this, that, and the other. Kiwi Dan ended up becoming more friendly with her after we went to bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, and yes, and that was that. So I was talking to her. He was off. He's like, bro, do you want a drink? I was like, yeah, cool. Thinking he's just going to get me a Coke. So he goes in the vending machine. He's like, oh, which one do you want? I was like, whatever, man. Like, just get me same as what you're getting. And he stopped looking at this vending machine. And I'm like, not thinking much of it at this point until he's like, here you go, Derek. And he throws me one. And I catch it. And I'm like, Lowenbrow, this is what we were drinking last night. I was like, bro, I thought you were getting like a Coke or something. He's like, this is a beer vending machine. This is the only thing it sells. I was like, well, Ryan, while in Germany.
Hey, when in Rome. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Far out, man. Yeah, but that was next level. Like that was. It's such a bizarre country, but there's so much culture there. Like it just reminds me, like Germany was a cool place that I went, and I think Netherlands was the other one that was cool because there's something weird about being able to go to the Van Gogh Museum, have a coffee, special coffee.
Sorry, coffee.
Yeah. Then go to the Heineken Museum and have a few beverages. Then go to Anne Frank's house, and then go.
Oh, please tell me they're not selling drinks at Anne Frank's.
No, we didn't. No. We went.
Oh, thank God.
Oh no, we went to the Anne Frank's house after the Heineken Museum. Then we went and had another. Yeah. So like I've never smoked, but my girlfriend at the time, Tash, she had a couple because she was like, well, while in Amsterdam, so she had one. Then we went to the Heineken Museum, which she didn't like, so she just kept handing me her beers. So she was pretty stoned. I was a little bit drunk, and then we went to Anne Frank's house.
Oh God!
And then after that, we were going to. I think it wasn't the Moulin Rouge, but it was like the Moulin Rouge.
It was a rip-off version.
It was kind of like the off-Broadway Moulin Rouge. Is how I'm going to say it, so it sounds more classy than just thinking
down a dark, dingy alley.
Well, it wasn't too far. Like you could throw a football from the Moulin Rouge to that. And it was also about like a ridiculous amount of euros cheaper. And to be fair though,
so I'm sold now. I'm sold.
Yeah, and I mean the food was like, I can see where you saved all that money. But the show was fantastic. Like, mind you, the show was fantastic. The food was so average that I'm like, we should have got McDonald's. But in between the Heineken Museum and the Anne Frank's house, Tash stopped and got me a coffee. And she was a bit peckish, so got herself a brownie. Ate half the brownie, put it back in a bag. It was a special brownie, shall we say?
Yeah, but yes. Well, these things may happen,
Yes.
from time, because who hasn't had half of a special brownie and then not realised it's, Oh well, to be fair, right, okay, right. Funny story. The first time I ever had edibles, I had half a brownie, and then thought it was a good idea to have a cookie that was also edible. Not the best idea.
So,
I went on a trip to a rocket ship, and it was not so pleasant.
ground
Because
control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom.
I didn't give it time, which is apparently important when having edibles. I was like, I don't feel anything. Let me continue.
Oh God, that's like what Tash did. Because
Yeah.
Tash, after we went to the Moulin Rouge, she was like, so she'd had some wine.
Spaced
She was a
out.
bit drunk, but she was coming down, and she was like, "Oh my God!" She goes, "This hit me hard." She's like, "Man, I just want something to eat." And she goes, and I'm like, "Didn't you have things?" She's like, "Oh, the food wasn't great." I was like, "All right, let's go find somewhere." And as we're walking, before I could jerry what happened, she's like, "Oh, I got half a brownie in my bag." And I turn around to go, "Oh, wait, no, I better tell her." And as I turned around, she's about 3 bites in, and I'm like,
We're going on a trip on a rocket ship.
God, this is going to end so fun. And yeah, sure enough, we're at the club. And so we went for a few drinks at this bar kind of thing. And there's people there and there's lights and everything. And she's literally just doing this. Mind you, the speaker is right here. And what she's watching is a light bounce off the speaker and a thing move, and is so confused why it's not happening in time. I didn't realize this because I'd gone and grabbed a drink for us. I'd put it down next to her. I was talking to one of the other people, and I turned around and she's like that. And one of my friends because I had my back to her and was facing this way, he's like, "She's been like that for 15 minutes." I'm like, "I'm going to take her home." I'm like, "Oh my God."
I mean, I ordered like $50 worth of McDonald's. I kid you not. I woke up so bad the next day because it was gorging myself on McChickens and chicken nuggets. It was so bad.
Oh my God. Actually, no, actually, Jeff, that my old chef mate, that I think, when we used to work together quite a bit, we used to go out drinking, and then when we would go out drinking, we'd go out and get McDonald's. We held the record for 2 people order. It was $97.60 at McDonald's.
Jesus.
And this is
Wow.
probably about 10 to 12 years ago.
I was about to say that we're talking a bit back as well.
So I got 40 nuggets because I felt like nuggets, because why not?
yeah, well, let's be honest. 10 nuggets doesn't even hit the sides.
Yeah.
The first 10's gone, before you've even realised.
Oh man, yeah.
20 doesn't satisfy you enough. You need, so really 30 to 40 is about a good number.
Yeah, and then I got a Big Mac because I felt like Big Mac. And then I was like, oh, if I get a large Big Mac meal, I better get a cheeseburger because that's like a standard. And then Jeff decided to call me. He goes, "Oh, stop being a pussy. Why don't you get the bigger cheeseburger?" So I got a quarter pounder. And then he paid me out because he got a double quarter pounder and I didn't. So then I got that. And then it's really weird. Like after eating all this food, like I could barely move. And it was the funniest thing ever because Jeff is about 6'5" and at the time weighed about 180 kilos. Like he was a big lad. So
Yeah.
for him, it was nothing. I was actually slimmer than what I am now. I was, I think, about 90 kilos-ish. Same height. I didn't shrink, luckily. I didn't grow any, so I'm still tiny ass. But, and I'm just like, and I put away the same amount of food that he did, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And I still remember getting home, and I was sober. Like, I went from being drunk to having it absorbing everything. Like, seriously. And then the next day, I felt surprisingly good, and I was like, oh, okay. But I drank a lot of water because there was a lot of salt, I felt like. Didn't really eat anything because I wasn't hungry. And then the following morning...
I wonder why. It's because it's just like sat there.
And then the following morning, I just remember having this massive pain in my abdomen. And...
Good half hour on the toilet.
Oh, yes. I don't even think it was half. I think half an hour would have been nice. Like, oh, I've never felt so much pain. Like, Oh, Jesus Christ. Like I can still remember it. I'm just like, this is just wrong. No person should ever have to sit on the toilet this much. Like, oh my God.
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
Oh man, that's a lot of barbecue sauce. I won't lie. Because you need to get extra barbecue sauce, man. They never give you enough barbecue sauce with your damn nuggets. we've just broken Jordan here, everyone.
Lots of barbecue sauce.
I dare you now to go to McDonald's and order barbecue sauce without
No,
thinking.
I can't. Oh my god, Des.
Any person that sees this now is like, I'm never looking at McDonald's barbecue sauce the same ever again. Like, yes. But yeah,
goodness.
that was yeah. It was like yeah. I remember we gave her $100. We gave her $250s, and we didn't get back much change. And I was just like, and I looked at him. I was like, didn't we give her two? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? And then when she goes, I'll sit down. We'll bring it out to you. And I'm like, oh okay. And she, funnily enough, she ended up bringing us some. I don't know why, but for some reason she goes, "Oh, just FYI, you broke the record for the two people that ordered the most stuff, and we've actually seen eat it." So she brought us over a couple of 30-cent cones. I was like, "Because that's what we need." Like,
because that's I tell you what. After scoffing all that, the next thing you know is that maybe a bit of dessert will hit the trick right.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Monty Python. So this is very old references for people.
Oh my god!
When he eats all that stuff and the dude just gets.
Would you like a wafer mint, sir?
Yeah, and it's just this small little wafer mint, and he's like, I couldn't. And then he's like, it's just a wafer, and he just keeps going on. And then eventually he eats it, and then he just explodes all over the whole restaurant. If you get a chance, please Google that or YouTube it. It is ridiculous. It is funny. If it happened today, chances are I'd probably get cancelled because a lot of Monty Python stuff is hilarious, but it was definitely in the time.
To be fair, we already know that Peter would have a field day over the Dead Parrot sketch.
Oh,
if it was released, that is my favourite sketch of all time, and honest to God, it cracks me up.
Still, yeah.
Every time I've seen that sketch so many goddamn times. I know pretty much word for word. When it starts going, and you just start reciting it, and I can't help but laugh my head off every time. But to be fair, it's like all the great. I mean, I do the same with a lot of old British comics, but God forbid, we can't go into everything in the first episode.
We used to watch Life of Brian every Christmas, and that was the thing that me and one of my housemates at the time in the UK did, Megs. And I still remember the funniest thing ever was I remember my second or third day in the UK, and I'm like, I'll just go for a walk, and there's a HMV nearby, and in their bar,
my God, that's a throwback.
Yeah, that's a real throwback, man. Like that's proper. But when that actually like that was hit its peak when I was there, and then died out as I was leaving. Like it was like, did I just kill HMV? I think I did. But in the bargain bin,
it was all your fault for leaving the country. It was the reason why HMV died.
Oh man, it must. But like, it's the weirdest thing. So I went in there, and I was just like looking around. I was like, oh cool, it's just a music store, and it's got some DVDs and stuff. And I found in the bargain bin, and in the bargain bin was the original Transformers film for 99p.
That's a crime, that is, for a start off, number one.
So I was like, okay, I'll buy it. And then the other one was for £3, £3.99 or £4.99 was the life of the Monty Python movie set.
No,
100%.
No, what? So you got Life of Brian, The Holy Grail
for a £5,
something, and now for something completely different, and there's another one.
No, I think there was only those three. There's only three of them, I think.
No, there is another one.
Oh, there is another one, but I think in the pack there was only those three, and I got both of those for a £5. He's like, to the Google.
Oh, no, I need to Google. Oh, no, if I don't, my brain is going to hurt me.
A few moments later.
The meaning of life.
Oh, the meaning. Oh no, it did have meaning of life. Actually,
yes.
No, yeah,
so it has the meaning of life, life of Brian, the Holy Grail, and now for something completely different. That's because I've got the box set. It's
like the dark blue one with Monty Python.
Yeah. It's on my shelf. I've got it on my shelf in the other room.
That cost.
If I was more energetic, I'd actually run up and go.
Yeah, but I got that for either $3.99 or $4.99.
That's an absolute tragedy.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I don't know who these people are. Like, is everything cheaper in England? I'm like, this is ridiculous, and it was insane. And then I discovered Argos, and that was kind of fun.
With the laminated book of dreams.
Oh man, I still love Bill. I've seen Bill Bailey so many times, and I still love that bit because it's so true. And it's like, so it catches the tears of joy.
Joy.
But yeah, as I was saying, guys, so pretty much we had 4 or 5 things on our to-do list of how this podcast was going to go. Intro and trailer, not done. Welcome to the chaos where we're going to talk about us, not done.
Yeah, not done.
Why we ship you all off to the UK. I wasn't actually sure what that was.
To be fair, these are all going to be different episodes in my original mind.
Oh, okay, then that's all right then. And also building myself a goblin lair, which is kind of a cool idea. And and for anybody that knows me, I run a tech website that I do, and I love tech. So this is going to be an episode that I want to do just by this because we're going to nerd out.
These are, it's the reason why it says episode guide, title / discussion, number 1.
Oh, I thought it was for this episode. I was like,
no, because somebody doesn't read.
I'll read good, yeah.
I see words.
Yeah. Where are all the pictures?
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes. And now we have to do the intro for this episode
and
because
we're gonna have to do the intro after this. But we're going to do the intro after. It doesn't matter because, anyway, thank you for joining us. Do have YouTube. We do have a YouTube. Please come and check us out on Dorks Down on the Podcast. We also have TikTok, again, Dorks Down on the Podcast. And funnily enough, we have Twitter, which is also, guess what? Dorks Down on the Podcast.
Wow.
We've actually been gaining followers and we haven't even posted anything yet.
Have you seen them? Well, I saw it and there was me, there was you, and there was a cam girl.
And there's 3 bots.
Oh, really?
I'm assuming they're 3 bots.
Well, yeah, because one of the other one was a cam. It said it had this picture of this lady, and I was like, how did she follow us? Like, I didn't even follow at that point. So there was
we have an Ellen, we have a Maxine,
Ellen.
And we have a Deborah.
Well, to our 3 fans already, love to see you.
We have 3 fans. Thank you for following us.
Yeah, and if you watch our cam, we'll watch yours. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Don't edit that shit.
But yes, this is going to be a weekly podcast that me and Des are going to do, and we are committed to being a weekly podcast. We're probably going to do it on a Sunday because that's the best day that works out for all of us.
I was going to say, and it's going to be a lot more structured, hopefully, with a little bit of randomness.
No, it's not. Kids, don't even. You know how this podcast is going to go. It's going to go like it is now, which is we're going to randomly chat shit, and then it's going to we haven't done the intro yet.
Yeah, the mad ramblings of a man from Australia and a man from the UK now living in New Zealand. We watch as they talk waffle for an hour and a half.
No, it's waffle. We are waffling. Yeah. Let's be honest. We're not chatting. We're just waffling and sharing stories.
It's good, but I think this is kind of what we want this podcast to be. Something that's free flowing, something that shares the ideas and loves that we have for all things dorky and nerdy and from our past. Like, we are a little bit older, as you can probably see. Yeah, but like
I'm a young 21. Is what I am.
If I lifted this up, you would notice that my Botox actually probably reaches about here. It's all smooth all the way up to the end. But because I'm in my garage, it's a bit cold, so I need the beanie.
Can Australia not afford warmth now?
Not right now. We've had one of the worst winters in a long time. Yesterday, it hailed to the point where the shop window that lives behind us had their window broken by hail.
Jesus Christ! Oh God, that reminds me of the time we were in Tenerife when I was a kid, and it hailed, and it was like the first time it hailed in like 10 years, and they were the size of golf balls when they came down. Because obviously they just got up and down for so long with this storm, and then they came down and they were like missiles.
That's what I love too, though. When you run outside and you're like, "Mummy, it's snowing," and you're just like, poof, unconscious.
Oh no! Honest to God, it was one of those things when they started smashing. You heard them, and being from England, we used to hail. You know, hail is like ding, 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 ding. Yeah. They say, like, what?
Blimey, what was that?
See them land in the pool, and you see how big they are. Like, okay, we're not going outside.
Yeah. Mummy, is this what killed the dinosaurs?
Can't believe it. But yeah. But anyway,
we will try I will try to cut this together and make it.
It's going to be beautiful. It'll be fine.
Beautiful, like this.
Anyway,
beautiful like this.
We still need to do our intro. Well, to be fair, we could do it as Two Bears do, which doesn't matter. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, Two Bears just have them start off, and then they do the intro, and then they cut back to it.
Yeah.
You know, because
Previously on this episode, we had an intro.
To be fair, we could do that on the next one, saying, "This is the intro that we were planning."
Just play some music.
Incredible.
And you just have the names just pop up underneath us, and that's all you really need. God help us.
Oh my
But
God,
no,
help
thank
us.
you all for joining us, guys. And if you can, like and subscribe and share this shit out, man, because I think this is going to be fun, and I think it's going to be some ramblings. And if there is anything you want us to talk about, just chuck it in the description, because we will actually answer it. And the good thing is, because we're such a new podcast, you're probably going to get an answer.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, God forbid. I mean, yeah, tweet at us, do everything. We're gonna have some fun with this podcast. Me and Des. We've been loitering a little while now, and we want to get back into stuff. And this is this was my little baby that I pitched to him, and he went, "Yes, let's do it."
I was like, "All right, love, let's do it, eh?" And then I reached out to a few people and just went, "I need this made," and then we kind of made everything. So it looks professional. Yeah. But this podcast is anything but professional.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we'll be honest. The entire thing in the background looks so good. Thank you very much, and it looks fabulous. And yes, but we are not professional.
The most unprofessional professional, the most professional unprofessional podcast ever. Cheers, love.
Cheers, love. Thank you. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. This is Jordan here and Des.
That's me.
Signing off from Dorks Down Under.
Be rude not to.